Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species around the multiverse, welcome once again to Geek Syndicate. This is episode 334, and we are doing what we do. That is, bringing the sass back to geekdom. I am Monts, and with me as ever is...
I am Nuge, and I just want to say to the alien invasion that's just landed in Norway, I welcome our alien overlords, and I look forward to working with you.
What are you talking about? What's happened in Norway?
Well, I was looking at this today, and apparently there was a meteor that landed in Norway after
landed? So when you say landed?
Well, I've added the word landed. Apparently it blazed through the night sky. I'll have to send you the link. No, you see the link for it. So yeah, left awestruck by a bright meteor that illuminated the night sky in the country's southeast. Footage shows powerful flashes of light over Norway, followed by what witnesses describe as loud bangs. A team of experts are hunting for the meteorite, which they believe landed in a forest near the capital of Oslo. Now, that's what the two things. To me, that's either like someone's been sent from some doomed distant planet that's going to grow up with like powers beyond those of like mortal humans, or it's an alien invasion.
Well, see, there's a number of things going on because you've seen all the reports about the mad weather. I mean, like floods in East London, floods in Germany, landslides in other places, all happening around the same time. And I'm like, I've seen enough movies to know this is the bit where the governments of the world are meant to come together to build some kind of satellite weather solution to stop the weather apocalypse happening. And I don't see them coming together to do it. It's like they have never seen a movie. So there's a whole heap of things going on that science fiction fans are prepared for, which the governments of the world don't seem to be clocking onto.
To me, I've got two words: Emperor Ming. That's all I'm saying.
Right
That's
there, man.
all I'm saying, man.
Right there.
This is his MO, like, you know what I mean? Straight out of Mongol, straight out of the Mongol playbook of invasion.
Where's our version of Dr. Zarkov building a rocket ship to help us sort this shit out?
Do you know what I mean?
Where are you, Dr. Zarkov? We're putting a peel out.
I was going to say, to be fair, like his whole scheme of like, I'm going to build a rocket ship to go up there to stop the attack. And then like, I'm talking about in the film, in the sort of 80s film. And then when Flash Gordon and whatever turned up, he's going to take his assistant out because I was going to say he needed someone to like push a pedal down or something.
Yeah.
I was like, he hadn't really thought that out. And it was like, there's a bit, I think, where Flash goes, what you do when you go up there? And he's like, I've got this. And he's literally got like a revolver. It's like, that's your plan.
I thought his plan was to have a chat with him, make him see reason.
It was a bit, I think it was a bit of both. If that fails, I've got the gun. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure any species you can kind of like send hot hell across the galaxy and control our weather. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be too fazed by someone like holding the gun.
Yeah, no, but what you're missing out the will of the gods here, which is for a healthy, patriotic sportsman to come wandering by at just the right time as he's launching the rocket.
True that.
Yeah.
He knows how to play American football.
Yeah. That'd be handy. It's not necessary because there's other sports in the world, but it'd be handy.
It'd be useless to be in UK, but just keep walking.
Absolutely. So I had this conversation with a neighbour how, like, in an apocalyptic situation, I've really got nothing to bring to the table.
Got nothing, man. Just some comedy chops. Do you know what I mean?
I could tell her a raunchy tale around a campfire.
Yeah. If you need some sort of wisecracking, do you know what I mean? Some wisecracking hullabaloo, I'll be your man.
Hullabaloo.
Need some sort of Kevin Hart style character, I'll be your man. Otherwise,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I just want to say this. I know, that I've seen the poster for Jordan Peele's new film.
Oh, it's one where it's just like a giant cloud or something.
Yeah, but it's the title.
What was it? I can't remember what it's called.
The title's Nope.
Yes,
and I'm like, this sounds to me like the most sensible horror film ever created. Let's go into the haunted house. Nope.
Yep.
There was a voice telling us to get out. You think we should explore further? Nope. I'm like, this is going to be such a short film.
Well, it's just going to be it's just going to be a film of like little horror scenarios, and at the end of each scenario, it's just going to be someone going, nope. Anyone fancy a Ouija board? Nope.
I know nothing about this movie. I've never been so excited for a movie.
Yeah.
Literally because of the title, man.
I was going to say, I would agree with you, apart from a trailer of something I've just seen. So before we get to that, I think what we should do, because we got a lot to get through, I think, because it's been a while. So I think rather than, I'll do a brief bit of news and we just hit week that was.
I've got a shout out.
All right, hit me.
So this week I was working on a mocap game that I can't tell you. So I wanted to say a shout out to some of the people that I worked with. Samantha Schnitzler, who was one of the Amazons in Justice League.
Was she the one who held the door open? You know, the one that falls in? Okay.
No.
Just checking.
I think she got 2 seconds of fame as she shot an arrow from horseback right in front of the screen. So there you go.
What, her? She weren't the one that she weren't the one you had to tie the rope around the mother box and shoot it. Oh, okay.
That is someone else who I'm in a picture with this week because she's in the same mocap agency as me.
Nice.
Phoebe Hyder, I think her name is. Also wanted to say shout out to Katrina Durden, who was one of Mad Mikkelsen's disciples in the Doctor Strange movie.
Oh, okay.
The blonde one who ended up in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also to Tom. to Tom Lee, whose Instagram name is Velvet Thunder. And he played a soldier who got beat down by Scarlett Johansson in the new Black Widow movie. So I was like, we were hitting all the Marvel toes, and there's actually some thoroughly nice guys, and I really enjoyed time in their company. So, and Katrina and Tom are big time geeks as well. So I was, big shout out.
Well, if you're listening, listening.
Samantha ain't listening because she don't care about this kind of stuff at all.
Okay. Well, the other two.
Yeah.
Evening. Right then, you ready for a bit of news?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the news.
Yeah. So, I should be brief because we have a lot of week that was. Well, I'll say I'll be brief. I'm interested in this because we discussed this way back in the day when this Doctor Who was on. So, Big Finish have announced that they're doing a new audio drama, which is no surprise given that's what Big Finish does. But this is going to be with Martha Jones.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In typical fashion, I've just written down Martha Jones and I haven't written down what it's called. It's called The Year of Martha Jones. So does that give you a clue of what it could be about?
A year in the life of Martha Jones?
No. Well, yes, but also no. So do you remember obviously this is a David Tennant run. It was where the Master comes in.
In the year, he's captured for a year. And
yes.
She's like running like resistance and...
Yeah, and travelling around the world and telling people about the Doctor and stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember at the time, I was thinking that's a great idea and we would have liked to have seen more of what she was actually doing.
Yes.
Well, we don't get to see more, but we get to hear more. So it's going to be about her adventures in that year. So there's 3 stories. The Last Diner, Silver Medal, and Deceived. Yep, and it's going to be coming December this year.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So it's got Freema, it's playing Martha, and the lady who played her mum in the TV show is going to be there as well.
And if you, we've been watching her sister recently.
In
Loki.
Is that her sister?
That was the girl who played her sister.
Oh, yes. Yes, sorry. Yeah, her sister in the show. Sorry, I thought you meant her sister in real life. Yeah. So yeah, I got to say, I honestly, Big Finish. If you're listening, 2 things. 1, slow down your release rate, man. I honestly can't. There's just too much. There's too much good stuff. And 2, there's probably a good reason for it, man, but I wish you could drop some kind of subscription service. For real.
I mean, the thing is, Big Finish have always done their non-Doctor stuff is as good as their Doctor stuff and sometimes better.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons I've always said this universe is so established now, it can survive without the Doctor. Because when I go to the Big Finish site, I'm not automatically looking at the Doctor Who stuff. I'm looking at the River Song stuff,
Yeah.
or I'm looking at whatever stuff, because it's all good and it all works, and it can work with or without the Doctor. And what was the one as Jenny? You know, Jenny, the Doctor's daughter?
Yeah, they've done stuff with her, haven't they?
I listened to it because I was driving back and forward to Oxford recently and I needed something to listen to. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's a couple of Missy audio dramas. River Song is on something like Stupid, like Volume 7 now. There's loads of tortured ones, which I really want to listen to
Apparently
as well.
They're really good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I can't. And for me, it isn't just the fact of, obviously, if there was a subscription service, I then got my pick of what I want to listen to. Because I've got Audible, it's always in my head that I've got a credit for something.
I know.
And I think it sounds silly, but I kind of almost forget what Big Finish is bringing out. And by the time I remember, they've brought out another 15 things, and that's what I'm on, you know. Like, they've got, like, young War Doctor stuff, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
So, yeah, it's crazy.
I know.
Speaking of Doctor, which is my last bit of news, because this is the whole Doctor Who thing. So, you've seen in San Diego, so obviously we had the San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, you wouldn't have known because it was all kind of online, and it didn't seem to be the same sort of, obviously, pomp and ceremony that goes with it. Be interesting to see what happens next year. But there was a Doctor Who panel and they dropped a teaser. I mean, it was a teaser because it didn't really show. There was really nothing there. But one of the announcements that came out of it is that season 13 is going to be one story.
I saw that.
Which has been done before.
I was going to say it has been done before. So it's just whether they do it. It's the same thing. I hope they do it well. I, unfortunately, have very little faith in the current showrunner, to use an American term for a British series. But he could prove me wrong, and I hope he does.
Yeah, as I said, there's been flashes, and the thing is, it's kind of like I like Jodie as the Doctor. One of the things I found really interesting was recently I watched Broadchurch for the first time.
Oh, no, yeah, that was great. I only watched the first season. That was like, I mean, I say great. It's some hard watching, man.
Yeah, but we blitzed like all 3 seasons. And you could kind of see why certain actors and actresses went on to become who they became in terms of success, because the quality of acting in that show was just hitting it. And for me, I hadn't seen, when Jodie Whittaker was announced, the only thing I'd seen her in was Attack the Block, and I liked her in Attack the Block, but that was literally the range of her acting ability that I'd seen, you know. But I was like, yeah, but she was good in that, so I'll give her a go. Had I seen Broadchurch, I'd be like, I can't wait to see her play the Doctor, because the range of emotions and depth and whatever that she brought out. And I still feel that they haven't properly tapped that.
They have not. And to me, it's that Star Wars prequels syndrome. And I just remember watching that and looking back and going, so many good actors in there, all of them acting badly. What's that about? I mean, all of them. And I feel, I'm not going to say she's acting badly in Doctor Who, but I just don't think whatever's going on has allowed her to be what she could be. It hasn't brought out the best in her. And I think that's script. I think that's dynamic. I think that's whatever's going on behind the scenes. I don't know, but I have in general been disappointed. I'll be honest.
But hopefully.
You know what? I never stop watching, so
no,
because I have hope eternal.
And again, you know, there's been things I've really enjoyed in the last season, and some of the ideas they tried to do and stuff, and some of them I had to sort of roll my eyes a little bit. But
like you said, there's been flashes of great stuff going.
Yeah, definitely. So all one story, and also it's going to be coming later this year. So hopefully that means autumn, which means Doctor Who will be on when it should be on.
Yes.
Do you know
exactly.
What I mean?
Right.
Autumn. That's when you put Doctor Who. None of this summer nonsense.
Yeah.
So yeah, bring it.
Absolutely.
So right, you want to hit some week that was?
It's time for the week that was. First thing I want to talk about is a comic. It's the only comic I've got,
Good man, because I didn't have one.
and it's from Image, and it's, you know how sometimes we have trouble pronouncing authors' names and artists' names.
Yeah.
So this guy's called EPHK.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's like story by EPHK, art by EPHK, color. Basically, he's done it all himself.
Right.
And it was originally published in Germany, and then Image Comics have taken it on, and it's called Morth Vallis.
Morph Vallis.
Yeah, Mawrth, Morth Vallis, which is the name of a valley in Mars, an actual valley in Mars.
Okay.
And so the whole thing is set on Mars, and it's how do I describe this? God. So I was trying to find the blurb, because if I can't find it, I'll have to read it out myself. I'll have to tell you what happens myself. So it's set on Mars, and there's like these two races on Mars, as far as I could tell. And it basically follows this female. All the fighter pilots seem to be female,
Right.
going by the art. And I will say that it is suitable for work, but it kind of comes close to the edge, just in some angles and some shots. And if you go and look at the guy's art, it's definitely got an erotic slant to the stuff he does.
Right.
So here it goes. The comic follows a Martian fighter pilot who's pursuing an enemy. After a dogfight, two of her fellow pilots die, which leads her to follow her rival through a mysterious portal. Both ships appear to pass through a cliff face into a desert populated by monsters. As the two foes chase each other through the harsh new landscape, they are met with a series of increasingly surreal surprises.
Ooh.
And it's kind of like the enemy mine thing.
Oh, okay.
But the art is fantastic. And I saw one reviewer say that this could easily be something like an Edgar Rice Burroughs novel.
Which is what I kind of thought when you were talking about the art. For some reason, the art won't load to me, so I have to look afterwards. But when you kind of said about the style of art, that's what made me think that kind of Tarzan-y,
Yeah.
Conan type.
So here's what sets it apart. Now, yeah. The whole thing, all talking, all the thinking, everything is in Martian.
What? So it's
The whole story is told using an imaginary Martian language.
Wow.
There is no English, there's no German, there's no earthbound language in this at all. And even more interesting, for maybe 90% of it, both the main characters, pretty much all the main characters, are wearing masks.
Wow, that's bold.
Or helmets. It's fascinating. And it took me a while to go, what's happening? And then, because you keep expecting it to be translated, wasn't happening. So it took me a while, and then your brain gets used to it, and you go, this is fantastic. My brain's having to work, but the work is good.
Okay.
Yeah? And the art is really expressive, so you start to get something from it. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the ending, even though I felt like I needed someone to go, let me explain to you what's happened here.
Right.
A little bit. And I think I know what's happened. It'd be nice to get someone else's opinion on what happened at the end and just have a chat about it. And I feel like it's one of those comics you go, you know what? Read it, put it down for a few days, read it again. Because A, it's worth it, and B, you need it to let everything sink in. It's, yeah, I've never read anything like that before.
And also as well, it's that thing of where they always say as well, with a good comic, any comic worth its salt, you should be able to lift the lettering out of it, and you should still be able to follow the story.
Well, I had this thing when I was directing opera, because you could have surtitles, you could have a screen up with the translations. Mm-hmm. And I was like, no, I don't want them. I said, if the performance is good enough and the acting is good enough, then it shouldn't matter what language it's being sung in. You should be able to get what's going on.
Get the emotion of the piece, as they say. Okay.
So, yeah, so it's, I know it's from Image. It's $14.99 in dollars in the States. Yeah. So it's a trade, but it's a beautiful trade, and it's a beautiful package as well.
Okay. Is it? I mean, now I'm going to be all after you've just said all that. But is it digital? Can you get it digitally?
I'm sure you can. I got it from.
I mean, yeah, I'll talk about it because I've started reading the comic. I've started reading is James Bond, Agent of Spectre, just because it's called James Bond, Agent of Spectre.
Fair enough, man.
And I've read the first issue, and and I really enjoyed the first issue. And I've got to say, if you're a fan of James Bond, you should be checking out the James Bond comics from Dynamite, because they are spectacular.
Really?
But I want to sort of come back to it when I've read more. I've only read the first issue, and I've also picked up. They've done like a James Bond, or I think it's called Origin, which is him, like I think he's like a teenager, kind of in the wartime and stuff, and getting into sort of adventures and stuff. And I've read the first few issues of that, and that's quality as well. So I'll feedback more when I've caught up on those. But right. I'm moving on quickly because you've got, I don't know if some of this is going to have to just go next episode. But one thing I want to quickly mention, just because we watched it yesterday, is it's a film called Don't Breathe. Have you heard of this?
I've seen that.
Have you seen it?
I watched it while I was in hospital.
So, like,
French film, innit?
No.
Oh.
No, this is an American film.
I have not seen this. I've
Basically,
seen the French film. Actually, the French film I saw was called Breathe.
Oh, okay. This is. I would basically say this is Home Alone meets Rambo in the worst way possible.
What?
So what it is, cut a long story short, basically it's these three thieves that kind of break into houses. One of them, his dad, I think he's a security guy, like a guard or expert or something. We run a security company, so he's able to kind of get the codes for the alarm systems and stuff. So what they do is they use the codes to get into the house, steal stuff, and then make it look like someone's broken in and not use the codes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And they find this. They come up with this big score that's going to get them out of town, and it's to break into the house of Norman, a Gulf War veteran who is blind, to steal his money, because apparently, like, he'd come into like something had happened to his daughter, and he'd been given a big payout, and they reckon that he keeps it in the house. And where the house is, it's the only house in that area. Like, the area is like condemned, and he's the only one still left in that area.
Right.
And they're like, and the main guy is like, "Look, man, let's just go in there. He's blind. Do you know what I mean? Let's just go in there." Now, for me, I just think in the lives that we live now, and certainly as geeks, that we watch too much stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't turned, I'm not turning to like crime. That's not to say when I was much, much younger, as we all do, you kind of flirt with that. I'll tell you right now, right? If you got, your kids are probably ain't old enough yet, but if you got kids that you think might be straying off the path, sit them down and show them this movie. Because if this isn't the movie of like to show you that crime don't pay, I don't know what.
Also, I've just looked it up, and so the old guy Stephen Lang.
Yeah.
I ain't going up against Stephen Lang for Love Nor Money,
right? And so it's kind of thriller horror. It's terrifying in terms of there's a lot of jump scares and stuff, but essentially it is that kind of, and he's got his own sort of secrets. He's not a good dude in either, but effectively it is Home Alone, but instead of like the two thieves, you got three sort of teenage thieves, and instead of Macaulay Culkin, you got this kind of you got blind Rambo.
Blind Rambo.
And yeah, it is. It's
brutal.
It's brutal, man. It's brutal. It's just,
I love it. Crime don't pay, kids.
If I was ever thinking of like ripping someone off, nope.
Okay. All right.
Apparently there's a sequel as well.
What, they go back?
No, trust me, some of them ain't ever going back. I don't want to spoil it, Joe.
Yeah, I kind of see that coming, though.
People are, you're done. I just want to say really quickly, there's a bit where they kind of obviously realise it's all gone wrong, and the dude starts to board them up inside the house, and you just think, well, that's you done. I'm done. Do you know what I mean? So you're done. He's like, woo! Is that truly? I'm like, you're done, man.
It's all over now.
I mean, we should have just stopped the video because you know how it's going to end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, roll on.
So I watched the film last night. I mean, there's a whole heap of films I could talk about.
Yeah.
I'll just choose this one because it's fresh in my memory. I think it only came out yesterday. Yeah. Hold on, what's the date? It was released on the 23rd of July. Okay, so it's come out a week ago. Blood Red Sky.
See, I want to watch this. This is basically Die Hard meets Dracula.
It's basically vampires on a plane.
Yeah, vampires.
But without Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's not a fun romp.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be.
So for those who don't know, there's a woman and her son on a plane going to New York, and she appears to suffer from some rare blood disease, and she's going to a specialist clinic. And then a group of men sort of sabotage the plane and take it over, pretending to be terrorists. But they've obviously got some other kind of thing going on.
That classic Die Hard move.
Yeah. Unfortunately, her rare blood condition is that she's a vampire, and hijinks ensue is the best way to put it. But I mean, what could I say? It ain't pretty, because half of the struggle is her trying to hang on to her humanity at the same time.
Right.
And it's not going well.
Right.
I mean? It's not going well. And there's a couple of weasels, of course.
Obviously.
And you just go, yeah, you know what? You deserve that, man. It's got that claustrophobic feel of just being set on a plane.
Yeah.
And I just remember watching it going, it's one of those ones where it kind of starts at the end. So I'm sitting there going, why do you start at the end? So you kind of know how, it's all going to play out. And then you go, oh, okay. I see. Actually,
Don't Breathe did that. And that was one of the things that I was a bit, not disappointed with, but it kind of did a similar thing. And I'd say it kind of meant that I had a fairly good idea how certain things were going to pan out. Do you know what I mean? And even though it wasn't right at the end, it was enough for me. I kind of felt like I didn't need that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I felt like I didn't need it, but to be fair, it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, actually. I thought it was a good waste of time, but it was more than that. It was good. And the woman playing the mum, she was great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to do 2 cartoons before we finish, because I feel the bigger ones like Loki and Black Widow we might save next episode. The episode can just be Loki, Black Widow. So the first one I want to say is, have you watched Star Wars Bad Batch yet?
I'm on episode 7, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I think I'm on episode 12, and then I got a warning text from Ant to steer clear of the next episodes, which I'm guessing is a spider episode. So,
oh, okay.
So I'm taking him at his word.
Good.
And it's so Bad Batch is basically what if you had a clone version of the 80s.
Sorry, I just watched episode 10 today, so that's where I am at.
Yeah, so Bad Batch is set after the Clone Wars, and it's centered around, I think they're called Clone Force 99. It's effectively the A-Team.
Yeah, pretty much.
Star Wars does the A-Team, and it was weird. I think because this was coming off the back of Clone Wars, and I was used to the setup of Clone Wars. It's not a dig on the show because I'm loving the show, but it took me a couple of episodes to get used to this.
Do you know what it was for me? Within the context of Clone Wars, the Bad Batch really stood out because, they were all on the same side, but these guys were a cut above.
Yeah.
Like you said, it was the A-Team, whatever. I mean, in their own show, they kind of seemed to lose what made them special because there was no one to compare them to.
Yeah, it sounds weird, but they almost seem a bit depowered.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's quite a few episodes where I see them struggle, and I get that some of the people they're up against are supposedly formidable, like bounty hunters and stuff. But these were guys that I was seeing taking on whole battalions without breaking a sweat, and it just seems now that they do struggle a bit. But I guess that is part of the way they've kind of structured the show. So it took me a little while to get used to that, but once I did, it was good. But what I realised is that once again, which is what Dave Filoni is so good at, it's not really the Bad Batch themselves. It's just the jumping off point to give you a much broader canvas.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Which you see as it goes on, and you start to see other characters come in and out, and you go, oh, okay. But more importantly, the world building of seeing the Empire
establishing
itself and getting its stranglehold is brilliant.
And I just watched an episode where I was going, yeah, these guys, damn the Empire, but these guys will come through. And then you realise it's at the beginning of the Empire's reign, which was what, 20 years?
Yeah.
25 years, something like that?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, so no, none of these people you see, they're actually going to be probably not going to be alive in 25 years' time. Do you know what I mean? And
it's just trying to see them just make their way and kind of navigating hard choices. And,
it took me, I really enjoyed the first episode, and then I found it quite hard going. And it took me till about episode 4 or 5 to find my foot, but I was enjoying it, so I kept going. Just not as much as I enjoyed it when it was part of the Clone Wars. And it took me to about episode 5, I think, to find my mojo with it again.
It's weird. I was like 100% the same. It isn't that, and I found that it took me, I wasn't like, right, I've got to get another episode in, like I did with the Clone Wars. But weirdly, it got to a point, and then suddenly I was in. And then I was like, yep, next episode, yep, bring it on. But it took about the same amount for me, 4 or 5 episodes. And I couldn't tell you what happened. I couldn't tell you like there was a something flipped and I was like, oh, okay, I'm in. It wasn't like that. It was just, I don't know. Just, I got used to the world they were setting up, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, no, likewise. I think that's how long it took me to acclimatize, if you see what I mean.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So lastly, I'm going to call this one because I know that you have been watching it, is Netflix's new reboot, revisioning of Masters of the Universe. Now, before we discuss this, I'm going to say up front to people, there's going to be spoilers.
It's the only way to discuss it.
Because it's quite difficult to talk about this, and certainly some of my issues, without spoiling it. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Master of the Universe, this is going to be the last thing we talk about before we wrap up.
So before people jump off, if they don't want to be spoiled, I'm just going to say this. Would you recommend watching it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would.
I'd say yes, and I wouldn't even hesitate as long as Barry.
But I would I suppose it's difficult without getting into my reasoning for my hesitation.
Right.
I'd say yes, but I would say try to go in with an open mind that it might not be what you expect it to be.
Absolutely. Say no more. It's probably best that you jump off now because you can't even say another word more without getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Stay clear of, if anyone's discussing it on your social media feed and you don't, just stay well clear.
Yeah. Also stay clear because it's pretty divisive out there.
Yeah.
Bring an umbrella because boy, it's raining shit out there, man.
Yeah.
So to get into it, so Master Universe obviously is revisioning, and the first episode throws a massive wobbly.
And I did not see it coming, and I freaking loved it.
So, right. So here's my issue. I'm going to say this, and then we could get on with it. The problem is, and I'm guessing you obviously didn't, I saw the marketing for this.
I did not.
Right? And
I saw one trailer.
Yeah. And the marketing for this, I almost want to say to you, go and look at the marketing and stuff. The marketing for this would lead you to believe that this would be a He-Man centric show. But
do you think they did that purposefully so that it would be a blind thing? See, I love that.
I think no.
It's so hard. It's so hard to surprise people these days.
Look, it's a double hit once. I think it's I think it's a bit of both, and I think I've got my cynical head on that. People sat around in the room and were saying, if we just drop it so it's going to be, we're going to take out He-Man and Skeletor for pretty much the whole of this first half of it. well, effectively they're calling this season 1. So, for season 1, we're going to take out He-Man and Skeletor, and we're going to focus on Teela. Other people are saying Teela. I would argue and say focus on Teela and the supporting characters.
Yeah, absolutely. Teela's kind of your way into all the
she's
other
your way,
characters.
that people and people ain't going to buy into that. So actually, let's not give them the opportunity to not buy into that. I think there's an element of that and the element of, let's do something really shocking that people aren't going to see coming to shake it up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel I feel there might have been a middle ground more so, because it did lead you. That's what I thought. I thought going into this that this was going to be He-Man show, and it might be different. It might be revisioned and whatever.
I didn't see the amount of marketing you did, but I went into it thinking it was going to be. I just assumed it was going to be a He-Man show.
Yeah.
I had no doubt in my mind it was going to be a He-Man show, and it wasn't. And I that was great for me.
However, so I need to set that stage, because I think that first episode for me, I was taken aback, and not necessarily in a good way because of the markings. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt if I hadn't have had that, if I'd gone in like you'd gone in, I'd have been all right. Do you get what I mean? I'd have been like, oh wow, okay. What I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm always one for like people trying to do something different. Have you seen it all yet?
Yes.
Okay. And given the way that it ends, I don't think it's going to end in the way people. I don't think it's going to go the way people think it's going to go.
How do you think people think it's going to go?
Well, it kind of is. Again, I'm hoping people aren't here now who don't want to be spoiled.
Yeah.
But obviously, as we'd say back in the day, He-Man got juke at the end.
He got proper juke.
Or to use the proper vernacular, he got stabbed.
Yeah.
And I can't. To me, if someone's died, if you're going to do a big scene at the end to show you that He-Man's died, right? Then you would show him dead. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt at the beginning when he did the thing with the sword, he disappeared. There's a part of me that was like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm buying that, because he just disappeared. You go, So again, I wasn't surprised when he popped up later.
No, not at all.
So, and I kind of liked the way that they did that, and some of the things they did around him and stuff.
And they explained. I thought I appreciated the explanation of to what happened there.
Yeah.
He got to go to He-Man heaven.
Yeah, he was dead, but I just think it's a stomach shot, Monts. We know the score, man. He got stabbed in the stomach, man. He's not going to die from that straight off.
Yeah.
That's it's a cliffhanger. It's a classic cliffhanger.
Yeah.
If he was dead, if he had been properly dead, you would have seen him give some last speech to Teela, and then he's dead, and he's dead.
He can't die because he needs to balance out Skeletor. That's always going to happen.
Mm. So,
although a little part of me was kind of expecting Teela to take the sword.
That's why, and I'm still not ruling that out.
No, me neither.
I'm still not ruling that out, and I'm not ruling. But I don't think that we've seen the last of He-Man. It seemed weird to me that they had that whole thing with the twin swords, because I thought it was going to be he'd get one and she'd get one.
Yeah.
And it would like split out the power. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So that seemed a bit of a red herring. So anyway, overall I enjoyed it. I enjoy what they're trying to do. Trying to show you something a bit different, and trying to play with your expectations.
For me, it's that whole thing that I always ask for. The world moved on.
Yes.
And I saw someone on Twitter say, guys, it looks great, but it's blatantly written for children. And they used a line that Evil Lynn said in the first episode. And I was like, yeah, but that line was blatantly meant to be a throwback to the old cartoon, showing you it's not a reboot. It's kind of, it definitely is in some ways, but it feels like a continuation, from the old days where they did say crappy lines.
Yeah.
And now we've come to the end of the road rather than continuing with like a new adventure of the week.
Well, it felt like what they were trying to do was have a typical He-Man episode.
And then go boof.
And it's almost like this is what happens after He-Man's come out and given you that little speech he used to give you about don't do this, kids. It felt like this is what happens afterwards. So the stuff I liked, like I said, in the original He-Man, the characters that I liked the least were Cringer and Orko. I couldn't stand Orko in that show.
There was no point to
point. Same with Cringer. I'm like, just give me a Battle Cat, man. Enough with that dude.
And I never really understood it because I was like, Cringer, you know that in 5 seconds you're going to be the bravest thing on the planet. Get over it, man.
Look, man, if someone could point a sword at me and make me the bravest person on the planet, bring it on, dude. Why would you know what
you know what I mean?
Normally it's a cat of Red Bull that does that, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But in the hands of this show, and that's what I mean, the show was not perfect for me, but what they did with Cringer and Orko, especially Orko,
especially, oh man,
Orko was like your MVP of that show, man.
You know what? When we agreed to do the episode today, I was like, I'm literally going to say the line, Orko is my MVP. Seriously. So I was like, yes.
Because I don't think I've ever seen a show where you've had a psychic character that I've just had no time for suddenly just step up, and I was like,
step up, find their way. And it was watching Evil Lynn's journey as well.
Yeah. But
which was, that was a gut punch at the end. I was like, come on. Oh.
But I think as well, what I liked about the Orko thing, he dropped some, isn't the fact that he kind of, finds his magic and da-da-da, and it's a wicked scene.
Great scene.
But there's a speech he gives to
Teela.
I don't know if it's Teela or it's Teela's sidekick with Teela.
Oh yeah.
He's talking about the adventure and how he's been on so many adventures that he can't even remember stuff anymore.
Yeah,
and
keep a journal.
And they're drifting and they're on the boat and they're drifting along. And he's like, I remember the day. I was like, I kept thinking, is this Orko?
Yeah, I know. It was like matured, man.
Yeah, yes, yeah. And even Cringer dropped some line where Teela's like, I know why you're afraid. I've always been afraid, and I know why. I know why you are.
I having spent so much time afraid, I know it when I see it.
I was like,
to be fair, I mean, Man at Arms, the real Man at Arms. He was. It was when Evil Lynn went. I've always said Man of Arms was the one was the dangerous one.
I think it's the fact that they called it. I think that episode was like the most dangerous man in Eternity or something like that.
Yeah,
and she was just like, "Yeah, all you lot running around after him, man. The one I always feared was like Man at Arms." I was just like, "He's the dude you don't mess about with." Do you know what I mean?
Also, what's his name? Robotica or whatever.
Oh yeah.
His sacrifice was. They handled that so well.
Yeah.
They kind of really made it mean something, and I was like, "Yeah, not just
people."
And it's like Reese did there, and he went because you don't understand because I'm scared of I feel afraid of death because we can do something. Because no, you don't understand. I feel that means I'm not just a robot. I'm a miracle. And then he dies, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, man.
That was deep. So
also the head. Big up to Bear McCreary, man. I've been re-listening to the soundtrack, man. Soundtrack's tough, man.
I only had 1 weak link for the entire show. I only had one thing. Number one, Teela as a character kept annoying me.
Yeah.
I wanted to go, look, just grow up a little bit. But you know what I mean? The guy didn't tell you his secret. Deal with it.
I think that was
If you want to be mad at Adam, fine. But what are you being mad at everyone else for? It wasn't their secret to tell.
Yeah. And I get that there was and I think they kind of did deal with it a little bit as it went on, because I was, in the first episode, I was like, to me, that would have been the equivalent of and then I find out that you're a superhero just as you're sacrificing your life for the world. And my first thought was, I couldn't believe Dave didn't tell me. Nah, man, screw the lot of you, I'm out.
Rather than my best friend just died.
Rather than my best friend has just died.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I get there's a brevity because you only got 25 minutes, so I had to allow it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it was that, and I wanted to like her more, but I felt I had to work to like her because she just felt childish to me. And she was, don't get me, she was a great character and did great stuff, but that kind of thing felt a bit I struggled with that. But what could have made me struggle actually was of all the characters in the entire show, that's the only one whose voice acting I didn't buy.
Yeah, 100% agree.
At all. I mean, not for one moment.
Yeah.
There was not a moment where I felt like the actor was connecting with the words.
It was kind of, for me, every time she spoke, I could see Sarah Michelle Gellar in an audio booth with headphones on, going, "Is that all right? Do you want me to do that again?"
Exactly.
And it was kind of like, there'd be some big emotional scene. I'd be like, "Oh man, yeah, man, that's tough." And then she'd say something. I'm like, "Oh, whoop, we're back in the recording room."
No,
like Mr. Ben, do you know what I mean? We're back in the changing room.
So that's the thing. And having been someone who's been in the booth, I literally saw it. And it was really weird that it's really interesting that you say that, because that was my exact thought.
Yeah.
And it kept pulling me out.
Yeah. And the weird thing is sometimes when people like say, we're doing this new cartoon and we've got like this all-star cast, I don't get excited about an all-star cast, right? Because, and my reasoning for that is, no one knew who the hell Kevin Conroy was before he did Batman.
Yeah.
Right? And I could go on about all the people you were playing, like all the Justice League characters in the animated series and stuff like that. And a lot of the shows that I really I've liked over the years, animated, I didn't know who the voice actors were. There weren't no one big name, famous people. And 9 times out of 10, especially some of the DC animated stuff, although to be fair, the animated films have got it right more often than not. But a lot of the times they go with like a big name cast. And that doesn't interest me, because I sometimes struggle, because I don't always think that the actors, because they're coming from film or TV, and all you got going for you is your voice. You know what I mean? It's just your voice. Yeah. And I think sometimes they struggle with that.
And I was going to say, acting on screen doesn't always translate to acting in the sound booth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what it is. That's what it is. When it doesn't work for me in a cartoon, all I see is the star in the booth. Whereas Lena Headey, who was Eva Lynn, nailed it.
Absolutely. I wasn't even thinking. And the other thing is, I wasn't even thinking, Lena Headey's doing a good job until like after the episode. Yeah. Because I wasn't thinking about the actress. I was just thinking about the character, which is where you should be. You know what I mean?
I always think it's that thing. If it's a good enough performance, then afterwards you go, I wonder who that was. That sounded, there was something familiar about that guy, but I really liked him. And then you go look, it was such and such. Like, in He-Man Heaven or whatever, there were some big old names up there.
I didn't even know.
One of them was I'm sure one of them was my boy from 24, who played President Palmer.
Oh really?
Yeah, I know that dude's voice anyway. But even though I knew his voice, I didn't think recording booth.
Yeah.
I don't want to use that term. She dialed it in. I'm not one of them people, but it just didn't. It didn't leap to me. So it made it more difficult.
I didn't even realise Mark Hamill was Skeletor.
Didn't you?
No.
I knew he was Skeletor because obviously they'd announced the voice cast and stuff. But and there was a couple of, and knowing that, there was a couple of lines he dropped where it sounded a bit like the Joker.
Oh, I didn't even realise Kevin Conroy was in it.
Was he?
He was Merman.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
And you had Phil Lamar in it as well.
Yes, I knew that, but I didn't know who he was.
He was Hero. Not He-Man, but Hero.
I think, and then I need to wrap up. But I think for me, what I will do, and whether I do it now or before they drop, because I think they're going to drop the second part of this later in the year, is to rewatch it.
Yeah.
Because now I've got out of that marketing thing of like, why have you done it this way?
Yeah.
Because I think you've unnecessary. Because I think there's a lot of people that are pissed off, and the problem is a lot of those people who are pissed off. I've seen some of the comments, and actually they were my own comments, and they're being met with like, you're just a this baby or that baby. But I can see why they would be disappointed, regardless of whether or not regardless of whether or not we sort of go, you better try and do something different. Some people tuned in because they wanted to see He-Man for 5 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think there's nothing wrong in that, unless you've given them the expectation from out of the gate that that wasn't what they were going to get, and then you make your own mind up about whether you want to sign up for that. However, obviously, I've also seen the more darker side of them comments. You're just like, just chill out, man.
Yeah.
If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it.
Don't be a tealer.
yeah. Come on, man.
You were right, by the way. It was President. What's his name? I was just looking at his name and now I've lost it. Dennis Haysbert.
Yeah. That's him. Yeah. Know that dude's voice, man.
Yeah, you're spot on.
So no, I think the second. I think it's one of these shows where I reckon the second half, when we get to the end of the second half, a lot of people will be saying perhaps it might have dropped better if they'd dropped it all in one season.
Yeah.
But said time will tell.
Yeah, I was surprisingly. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it. Actually.
Yeah, I did. I really did enjoy it. I thought the other thing I will say is, I thought the animation was great. I thought some of the fight scenes got better as it went on. There was a couple of tasty sword fights towards the end.
Yeah.
But I also think at this day and age as well, with some of the animated shows and what they're doing with action and fights, I think there were some moments in there where I was like, some of it was a bit slow. A bit stunted compared to other shows.
Well, also, we've just come out the back of Castlevania, so that's always going to be a tough one.
Yeah. But overall, like I said, criticisms aside, I really enjoy it. And for a revisioning and trying to do something different, I really enjoyed it. Right, buddy, round us up.
Yeah, so you know the deal, people. Let us know if you agree or disagree, and you can do that at the geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk, or find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And if you want to donate, you can do that at Ko-fi.com. If you fancy it, help keep us alive. So with that said, join us next time when we'll be talking stuff.
Hopefully talking Loki and Black Widow.
Yes, indeed. So till then, Geek Syndicate, we out.